So today I've come to Ixworth to watch the Ixworth Crits. I've put together in this video loads of little highlights from the various races, so have a look, see what sort of goes on here, and hopefully next year you can take part in something like this. If it's not Ixworth Crits, maybe another different race, but let's see some decent racing. And the first race of the day was the Cat 3. We've got the Cat 3 men's, and shortly setting off afterwards will be the Cat 3 women. There's the men's off. As you can see, course conditions are wet. It had been raining just before this race and it had stopped, but the course was very wet. And you can see the two ladies away there. Unfortunately, only two ladies in this Cat 3, which is a little bit of a shame, but that's always a struggle in racing at the moment for the females. So only two of them to battle. And the guys were soon off and it started to string out. You can see Cam Hurst there just chasing down the front two. But you can see the race strung out quite quickly on the first couple of laps. And you can see we've got three riders away there. Cam Hurst, local guy, being one of them. And you can see the rest of the field, but it is stretching out. And then you can see it starts to come back together, but they are proper strung out here. Single file down the main high street. And the course is just round the block. So it's all right turns. 4 right turns, brings you around the course, very short course, multiple laps, but it does make for exciting and tricky racing. And you can see the speed the guys are reaching here, easily 30 miles an hour at times on this course. And you can see the pace was kept quite high and it kept the guys strung out, but there's literally a few people trying to make attacks off the front, trying to make a break, and you could see it split the group a bit again here, but nothing was holding in this race. And you can see as they come round, now this is the main group, they're catching up to some back markers there, but you can see the main group is still pretty big and it held together pretty well throughout the whole race. And here you go, you can see the main pack there. We've got Oscar Everett on the front there, one of the young juniors, pushing on, out there to get some points. We've got the two ladies battling each other, and you can see here they really swing, it's quite narrow, swing out onto the main straight, and unfortunately, just with a couple of laps to go, Oscar Everett was on the front and put the power down out of that corner and did crash out, unfortunately, and miss out. A couple of other riders went down at the same time and lost position, so that did cause a bit of disturbance and broke the race up. And we're on the last couple of laps here, and you can see the guys really putting down the pace, just trying to get a break, any sort of break they can get, but nothing was going. And you can see young Cam Hurst there, leading them through. And here's the final lap. And as they go in, putting down the power, and the win is taken by James McCormack. Ben's taken part in the Cat 4 race, so looking forward to seeing how he goes there. He's after some more BC points so that he can get his Cat 3 and move up, which is the most important thing for him this afternoon, so hopefully he does well there.
13, 20.
Me hanging out here on my own.
Mate, you're better than I am.
No,
at least there's drive.
But has you? But I can't believe they haven't got someone. Do you know what they said? They can't brush the water out of the way because they're.
It's a bit tough race.
Common sense is coming.
I know.
Brush that out of the way down this hill now. Surely that's dry. Right? Does that not make sense to use on?
I know. That's mate, like you can't clean your path, can you?
Yeah, some of them falls over.
Oh mate, common sense. Common sense.
Second race of the day, the Cat 4 race. This is the race I would be in if I took part. I ain't taking part in this crit race around these narrow streets. You can see Cheeky Ben's in the race. He's there trying to pick up some more points to move towards his Cat 3, which is what he needs. Also taking part in the race, Keane Beckenham and his dad Craig, who I race with in cyclocross, and also fellow club member Steve King out there, and plenty of other people I knew as well from cross. But you can see as it went out, it soon started to string out in this Cat 4. There's King just trying to chase onto that break and trying to keep himself at the front. Some of the older Cat 4s there towards the back, and you can see this race is stringing out fast. The guys on the front were trying to put together a break and really get away, and the pedals were going down on this race. It was easily as quick as the previous Cat 3 race, and you can see them pushing through, and there's actually already a split foreman there and a small front group starting to form, and some of these guys are struggling. You can see Shield's rider there pushing on, Ben chasing, but this group's still quite large there, probably about 9-10 people in that front group. Little split there then to the second pack, but it's soon shaken out, and you can see the pressure is on the front, and there was an army racing guy, he was pushing on. Now there's 4 girls also in their race. You could see the front female there. She was outstanding. She was well off the pack, pretty much TT'd the whole thing on her own, and then the other three males there having a closer race. But you can see here, even the front pack is now stretching out, and Keane's struggling to hold on to that front pack. As you see them come through on the ladies there on the inside, ladies looking over their shoulder, just moving out. It's always a bit difficult for the ladies when they're racing on the same time as the men. Hopefully they don't find it too intimidating, because it is pretty fast out there. But you can see now we've got a small break going on here. We've got 2 off the front, and then the pack of 4 behind chasing them down, and Ben's in that pack, and he has to go and get on and chase them down. And you can see him working towards the front here, and they're pulling in those 2 off the front, and they're back to a group of 6. So the 4 behind really did well there to close down that mini break, but they've also given themselves a massive lead over the chase and pack now, and they really gapped it out from the chase and pack, and this was 6 away, and you just couldn't see these 6 coming back, and you're thinking the leader's going to come from these 6. You can see Ben there just keeping in touch with the army guy, trying to go off the front, but they just kept staying together. They'd all have a little surge, see if they could go, but nothing was sticking, and you can see Ben there constantly just marking, maybe doing a little bit too much work at times, but he's still learning. First season in crit racing for him, moving over for this year from triathlon, just to see how he gets on and give himself a bit of a test. But you can see here they're looking to see if they can get a break, and they're actually coming up to lap the chase pack, and they actually catch the chase pack before the end. And now we've actually got one big pack, but the lead pack is actually lapping everybody else, and it got a bit confusing. You can see Keane at the front, but he isn't actually at the front. He's nearly a lap down, but he's just keeping himself from being lapped. So it got quite exciting, and even my colleague there, Steve King, he's up there, races for the same club. See there, Benson takes some great shots as normal, going for the sprint at the end. It ended up in a break of 4, and Ben was unfortunate to be the 4th rider across the line. Keane did well, although he'd been dropped, he still managed 7th place and picked up some points. Great race for Keane in his first crit race. Racing swiftly moved on to the Cat 123 female race, and this was pretty full and quite an exciting race, and it stayed together as a pretty big pack throughout. Nobody really trying to put on a major break at any time, which was a little bit of a surprise, but the girls just all stayed together. You can see there, they're a big pack. Now there was some slightly slower riders, less experienced riders, maybe the Cat 3s probably, just further back, trailing behind, but you can see it pretty much stayed together as a big pack. And there were some fairly big names in this pack. Notable one locally was Jenny Andrews. She did really well, Masters rider there, stayed in the race for the whole way through. Another rider in there of note is Laura Senior. She's moved over to gravel for this year, but fairly experienced in the crit racing and on the national scene, and she turned out for this local race. But you can see them, they are motoring as well. These girls are motoring. I wouldn't want to be going around these corners in this pack, and it's impressive to see how they all handle the conditions well. Course had dried out, it's lovely. We're coming in the last lap, big bunch as you can see. They're going to be going for a major bunch sprint at the end. As you can see, there was a short bunch sprint there, crossed the line. Winner of the race, Georgina Oakley, taking the win.
The Cat 123 race for the men is filled. We got the Amy brothers, we got Leon Atkinson down to race, we got Dan Bingham. There's some big names in there, as well as some local big riders as well.
as I said, this is the race most people were looking forward to, and very quickly, local rider Ross Fawcett took a break and just literally thought, I'll take a flyer. And he was literally off the front straight away, as you can see. Now, Ross is well known locally. He has a lot of KOMs on Strava. He's racing for the Stolen Goat team this year. He's doing really well on the My Whoosh racing as well online. He is well known locally. Really good, really strong rider. But I'm thinking, crumbs, Ross, you've gone off the front early here, mate. And he really has. Look at the lead he's got over these guys. And we've got some big names in there. Young riders, the Amy brothers, Milo Wills. You've got Dan Bigham in there. There's some proper big names in this pack chasing. But they didn't really seem too concerned about Ross being off the front. And they didn't seem to want to chase. Nobody wanted to work. And I can see why. You know, you don't want to pull the rest of the pack back. And there's a lot of riding still to do here. You know, this is an hour's race. There's no need to panic. I think that was their thought. But you did see the odd rider then go off the front and try and bridge the gap. And you can see two riders doing just that then and trying to bridge up to Ross. And I think Ross, at some point, he looks quite keen because I saw him, we're further around the lap, checking behind, and he almost sort of sat up and eased to let the riders come up to him so that he could make a bit more of a breakaway group. And you can see here Ross, he's still off the front though there. And another rider chasing on, but they just didn't quite seem to be able to handle that pace at the front. And Ross was just ahead. You can see a rider there pulling over, maybe a lap rider, maybe someone pulling out, feeling their legs a bit. The pace of this race was phenomenal. This was rapid. And how nobody went down in this race early on, I'm surprised, because it was proper tight round the corners. But conditions had dried out. And you can see Ross and the other rider there, they've still got a big lead over the front, but you can see the Techers riders, the Amy brothers, Milo Wills, just working on the front there a bit. See if they can start to pull that gap back a bit, because it was hanging out for a fair while. Now, unfortunately for Ross, he just skipped over his front wheel on the tarmac on a bend and lost it and slid out with another rider. Really unfortunate. And he decided to retire. Now, unfortunately for Dan Bigham, he dropped his chain with a lap to go, and he missed out on the sprint. Very unfortunate. Frank Longstaff taking the win, Milo Wills second, Oscar Amy third, and local rider Thomas Lewis fourth place. Phenomenal race from Tom, hid in the pack, didn't do too much work, and took a fourth place.
So some really exciting racing today at Ixworth. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The weather could have been a little bit better earlier on. It was a bit wet, a little bit chilly, but it turned out nice in the end. I think everyone had a great time. Certainly saw some good racing. Last race was proper exciting. Ross Fawcett dead unlucky to come off. Put in a great effort there, but just unlucky to come off. Fortunately, I wasn't recording at the time. Genius. Missed Dan Bigham dropping his chain. Again, bit unfortunate for him. Run a massive one by. Didn't pay off because on the one lap to go, dropped his chain and put him out of contention. However, put the results up here for the main race. But great racing. Hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, you know what to do. Like, subscribe and hit that notification bell.